We've all been there. You wake up excited to shoot, grab your camera, and then you step outside. The sky's flat, no shadows, no glow, no drama. I was obsessed with golden hour. If the light wasn't soft and gold, it didn't feel worth pressing the shutter. But there's the contradiction. Since 2014 I've been living in the UK. It's a place full of beauty and character, but golden skies don't happen every day. More often it's clouds, it's grey, what we call boring light. But I love photography, not just golden hour photography. So I had to adjust, to evolve, to learn that boring light doesn't kill creativity, it awakens it. Stick with me because in this video I will show you how I learned to make overcast skies, foggy mornings and rainy dull days work in my favor, and I'll share the simple mindset shift that completely changed how I see photography under grey skies. Golden hour is beautiful, yes, but if you only chase those moments, you miss most of life. So many of our everyday moments happen in bad light. We rush to work under flat skies. We meet friends for dinner on a rainy night. We walk the wet streets under colorful umbrellas and raincoats. Life doesn't wait for the perfect light, so why should our photography chase only a small slice of it? I still love golden light, don't get me wrong. It soothes the people, it calms the heart. And if that's what comes out, that's what you will capture. Cloudy days though, they reveal something deeper. They bring out the boredom, the nostalgia, the irritation. We frown under wet coats, rushing to get home. But cloudy days also bring tenderness. Sharing an umbrella with someone we love, holding closer to feel warmer, laughing under dripping hair. Back then I wouldn't even consider picking up my camera on a cloudy or a rainy day. But slowly I learned there is no such thing as bad light, only the wrong mindset. And overcast days became the turning point, because that's where I learned one of the most important lessons in photography. In a moment I will show you how I learned to use flat skies to take photos I never expected. The problem with overcast days is that the clouds act like a giant softbox, killing the contrast. Scenes feel flat, uninspired, and the sky just a blank white mass of emptiness. When I finally took the leap back in rainy Manchester around 2015-2016, I took a leap of faith and went out anyway. I saw something I liked, I pressed the shutter, and the result was a mess. No subject, no direction, just the sky blowing everything else away. My instinct was always to put the camera straight ahead, sky included. But the bright white above clashed so hard with the buildings below, everything else disappeared. The first breakthrough came when I stopped including the sky in my photos, at least at the start. Instead, I turned my camera towards what the light was really offering: clean colors, simple shapes, even tones. Back then I was initially using the Nikon D3200 with a kit lens and eventually got the Sony a7 II again with a kit lens, the little 18-55. I leaned wide towards the 18mm. Some of those photos were interesting. The wide angle exaggerated Manchester architecture, but the photo still felt dull. Later, when I got my hands on the 50mm, everything changed. That was one of the first moments that I began to see how focal length could shape the story and how to use it to get the most out of any light. If you're enjoying the video so far, hit the like button, the hype button, and consider subscribing with a bell. Cutting out the sky was just the start. Next, I discovered how longer lenses could turn even the flattest light cinematic. Once that clicked, I leaned in further. The next chapter began when life brought me to Leicester. Leicester gave me some of the most beautiful sunrises and sunsets I'd ever seen. Whole skies turning pink. But more often it was the opposite. Heavy clouds, grey skies, and rain. At first, those days frustrated me, but they forced me to use my 50mm more deliberately, no matter the conditions. Slowly, I fell in love with moody photography and with that semi-long lens feel a 50mm gives. But even that wasn't enough. I wanted more control, more mood, so I doubled down. I committed to the long lens look and picked up an 85mm f1.8. And that's when the real fun began. With longer focal lengths, I could isolate subjects, cut the sky out, and strip distractions away. A colorful hat, a red umbrella, details that vanish on sunny bright days, suddenly became the stars against the grey city. If you've ever struggled with dull, flat days, this is where longer lenses come alive. They give you the power to simplify and guide the eye. I started observing people more closely, watching for those small things that make them unique, and find creative ways to make those features shine. And I discovered something very interesting. All I needed was a dark wall. Place someone in front of it, let a soft overcast light fall across them, and suddenly they glowed, bright against the flat day. That was the moment when flat light stopped being a limitation. It became something to embrace. And then came the fog. Lester gave me my very first foggy mornings. Later in Cambridge, I chased them even harder, and that's when my photography truly exploded. Let me show you why. Fog is different. It doesn't just soften the light, it transforms the whole world. Streets you've walked 100 times before suddenly become unfamiliar, cinematic, almost dreamlike. What I love about fog is how it simplifies. It hides the clutter, it adds depth, it makes a single figure stand out like they are in a movie. A person crossing the street, a cyclist disappearing in the mist. Suddenly the most ordinary scene feels like a story. In Cambridge, I chased those mornings every chance I got. 5 a.m, midwinter, -5 degrees outside, it didn't matter. I would be up and out. I love fog. Walking in it, shooting in it, everything else clears away. My thoughts quiet and my anxieties fade. It's just me surrendering control and getting lost in the beauty of the moment. Sometimes I use an 85mm, sometimes a 50 to compress the haze and make layers dissolve into each other. This allowed me to focus on people and let their features emerge in an ethereal setting. Other times I went wider, letting silhouettes melt into the fog or capturing leading lines as they slowly disappeared into nothing. The truth is, fog gives you permission to slow down, to notice details you would overlook on a clear day. And when the light feels flat, fog reminds you it's not flat at all. It's alive, it's full of mystery, and it's waiting to be photographed. But fog isn't the only thing to chase. There are so many creative ways to turn grey days into something alive. Let me show you a few that you can easily use whenever you're out with your camera. Flat or dull light doesn't have to mean dull photos. In fact, this is probably the best time to experiment. One of my favorite techniques is slowing the shutter down. Cars blur into ribbons of color. People walking through the frame turn ghost-like, filling the frame with energy. Even handheld, if you have stabilization, you can shoot at a tenth of a second and still create something that will feel alive. Reflections are another gift of bad weather. Wet streets, puddles, glass surfaces. On overcast days, they add contrast when none seems to exist. Suddenly the whole city is glowing back at you. With reflections you can overlay figures and features of the street on top of each other, creating new meaning by merging unrelated stories. You can also do that with double exposures. I love experimenting with this on my X-T5 or Ricoh GR3X since they both have a double exposure mode. One of my favorite experiments is what I call the traffic light man. I started with a long exposure of something colorful, maybe around 1 second, by moving the camera to create abstract shapes. Then for the second exposure I dialed the shutter down to 1 to 250 and framed the red or the green walking man wherever I wanted the frame and click. That's a playful idea that always makes me have a good time. But sometimes when color feels flat, I switched to black and white. It doesn't make things easier, but it changes how you see. Shapes become stronger, shadows feel deeper, and flat light suddenly becomes timeless. In black and white, even the sky becomes usable. Shoot from a low vantage point, either put the camera close to the ground or shoot towards a bridge or a tall building, expose for the sky and let the passers-by fall into the shadows. Suddenly, you have a frame with beautiful silhouettes. These aren't rules, they're just ways to help you see differently. On grey days when many would leave their camera at home, I push myself to go out and take photos I would never make in golden light. So all of these techniques mean little without the right mindset. And that's the real shift I want to share with you today. Here is the truth. Light doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, there is no such thing as good or bad light, only our reaction to it. For years I thought the only meaningful time to shoot was under a golden sunset. But practice, observation and a bit of faith taught me something meaningful. Beauty isn't hidden in what's superficially impressive. Beauty exists in the everyday, in the people who roam the streets, in the friends we share smiles and experiences with, in a simple touch or a simple hat that breaks the grey and makes even the dullest frame shine. The real shift came when I accepted the truth, embraced it, and grew my skills to match my creative vision. Practice makes progress, and progress makes us happy. And what makes me happy is taking photos in any light, which means for me, any light is perfect. So here's my advice. Next time you go out and the sky feels dull, don't put the camera away. Lift it up. Look through the viewfinder, search for that little thing, the discrete detail that can turn an ordinary day into a legendary one. And if flat light was today's challenge, wide angles was yesterday's. If you want to see how all this applies to wide angle focal lengths, you can click and watch this video right here. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe with the bell. And if you would like to support the channel further, become a member or check the other links down in the description. That was all for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I will see you on the streets. Bye bye.